What's going on, guys? I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. You're a returning subscriber as always, guys. Welcome back, and I do appreciate the support. Well, news has broke that soon-to-be former President Joe Biden pardoned his son Hunter Biden from federal charges or crimes that Hunter may have committed. What does this say? Since 2014. One of his last acts in the White House on his way out is he pardoned his son. A lot of people are upset about this, but did you expect anything different? Not just from the point of it's his son, but I mean, did you expect anything different with like the latest stuff that you've been seeing going on in this country? Take a look at this and we'll come back and talk about this.
All right, we just told you the president has pardoned his son, Hunter Biden, sparing him from a possible prison sentence for federal felony gun and tax convictions. Now, the move comes after the president and the White House repeatedly, time after time, said President Biden would not pardon his son. The president himself said that to reporters. We're expecting to hear from the White House press secretary at any moment. She's actually on Air Force One in Africa. She's scheduled to speak with reporters on that flight. Meanwhile, let's bring in CBS News White House reporter Willie James Inman. He is traveling with the president. He's actually already in Angola. So, Willie, let me ask you, how did President Biden come to this decision?
Hey there, Vlad. Well, as you mentioned perfectly, President Biden has said time and time again that he will not pardon his son, Hunter Biden, for those felony convictions. And this is something that we've been asking about. And the White House had stood by that claim that President Biden wouldn't indeed do what he did late last night in pardoning his son for these criminal convictions. We know, of course, that the sentencing hearings were, in both cases, were coming about shortly. So perhaps that's why we're seeing the timing of this announcement from the president. But I do want to play some sound as to what we heard from the president earlier this year. Listen.
With regard to the question regarding the family, I'm extremely proud of my son Hunter. He has overcome an addiction. He's one of the brightest, most decent men I know, and I am satisfied that I'm not going to do anything. I said I abide by the jury decision, and I will do that, and I will not pardon him.
Now, perhaps after former President Donald Trump won the election, President Biden didn't really see any political consequences to this. Of course, we know since he made those statements, he dropped out of the presidential race. Democrats lost the presidential election. So this is the decision that the president and likely the Biden family came to. But nonetheless, it is certainly a decision that Republicans and some Democrats have criticized, perhaps seeing it through the lens of misusing presidential power to pardon your own child. But President Biden, for his take, he essentially said that there was a miscarriage of justice here, that Hunter Biden was unfairly targeted by the justice system, and there was political maneuvering, if you will, in terms of putting that pressure on to bring about some of these things that happened during that case in terms of that plea deal falling apart for Hunter Biden, and President Biden saying that Americans should still believe in the justice system. But on the other side of things, though, Vlad, he's pardoning his own child, something that has not been done before in American history.
Yeah, Willie, certainly not perhaps a child of a president, but certainly family members have been pardoned, including former President Clinton's brother, Roger, and even former President Trump pardoned the father of his son-in-law, Charles Kushner, who he's now appointed, as you know, to be ambassador to France. But the question I think a lot of people have, both specifically on the left and, of course, on the right, is why the president would use the language that former President Donald Trump has used when talking about the Justice Department. And he seemed to be saying in so many words that the prosecution of his son was political. If he had just left it as, look, I'm a dad and I'm doing this for my son, any father or parent can understand that, perhaps people wouldn't have the same anger that they have over this move. What are you hearing from the White House about that specific language and why he chose to pardon his son?
Yeah, Vlad, we really aren't hearing much. The president had an opportunity to address members of the media when he left last night from Washington, D.C. He also had a stopover, a fuel stop, before he's set to arrive here in Angola. And the first statements that we'll likely see, or hear, I should say, we won't see them because the briefing is going to be via Zoom, essentially. It's going to be piped into the briefing room here in Angola. We're not going to see images from Air Force One. Is Karine Jean-Pierre, where we'll hear her response. But that's an interesting question, one that perhaps only the president, his staffers, his team could answer. For the most part, the White House has been quiet about this, putting out this statement late last night. We did, of course, see through that statement, as you mentioned, the president using the words, talking about how political he saw the system be against his son, Hunter Biden. And certainly questions surround this decision as to why he decided to make this decision now, why he didn't use the language that you talked about, saying that he was doing this for his son. But the president, in making this decision, perhaps doesn't see any political consequences to this since he's leaving office, and you have former President Donald Trump coming into office now. So Republicans will not only control the White House, but they'll also control the Senate, and they'll control the House as well. So Vlad, President Biden making this decision and doing it while heading here to Angola and on the world stage.
All right, Willie, James Inman for us this morning. Thank you, Willie.
Guys, you seen this stuff, you know what they were talking about. A lot of people are upset about it, saying it's not fair. My opinion, I agree it's not fair, but I mean, I don't have a dog in the fight, but that's the man's son. And they said the man did the pardon and ain't really gave no explanation besides, oh, he was targeted because of, I guess, his political opinion, position or whatever. But either way, where's the sense of responsibility and accountability? So the man had gun charges and what's name charge that and tax charges, both federal crimes. An average person go to jail. Why can't your son? Where's the accountability at? And it's the thing, you know, this is a grown man. He ain't no teenage snot-nosed kid or something that don't know his you know, up from down. Your dad was the president. You know what I'm saying? And it was a whole bunch of stuff that was in question when he was in office and you was there doing stupid shit. As a grown-ass older man. Hell no. They said they found cocaine in the White House. Whether it was his or not, I mean, it's not a good look. This guy's name is synonymous with his father, almost on the same level of being well known from the dumb shit he done or got his name put out there with. That in itself is embarrassing. You put yourself in that position, not your dad. Your dad came in, rushed in and saved you. That's what dads do. But I guess, I mean, I'm funny. Once you get grown and I know you have common sense and you go and make some stupid ass mistake where it's going to cost me a lot of time or a lot of money or my image, you know what I'm saying, as your father, fuck no. You sit in that shitstorm you created. And that's just me. But everybody raises their kids differently. Everybody, you know, thinks differently. All in all, man, pick your poison with this, for real. They pardon turkeys every year, which I think is a myth, but, you know, nobody say nothing about that. Man did what he did for his child. You know what I'm saying? Like they said in the interview, he didn't say nothing about, oh, he's my son. That's why I did it. You're not going to hear anything else about this. This will make news today for the next probably 48 hours, and then it'll go away like everything else. But I will say this before I leave. For him to pardon his son, you the leader of the free world. You don't believe in your own damn justice system, just like a lot of us don't. And that's why your ass did that shit. I honestly think also he was going to get pardoned regardless, because once Kamala came into office, that's what they was planning. She would have became president. Joe would have did this anyway. And you know what I'm saying? This shit is stupid. You know, I'm going to leave this alone. Stock Market Steve with Dynamic Reason Channel. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. I understand when you want to take up for your children when they do something bad in life, but if you are you know, the model citizen you say you are, and all this other stuff, and your kid, and Hunter's your hero, and he's a good person, and let him deal with that and let the court decide. The same court you put on regular people to go through the bullshit, why can't he? Just saying. See you in the next video. Take care.